5%. However, the number of COVID-related deaths is remaining stable. Students back in classrooms in the U.S. and school officials getting ready to swab a lot more noses.
The White House will announce on Wednesday efforts to increase COVID testing in schools. The plan includes the federal government sending 5 million rapid tests and 5 million PCR tests to schools each month at no cost to them. The White House says it's also working on ways to tailor federally supported surge testing sites to K-12 schools where needed. And finally, the administration says it plans to use some of the $130 billion as part of the American Rescue Plan to further support COVID testing in schools. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Tennis star Novak Djokovic now says he knew he had tested positive for COVID when he attended a newspaper interview and photo shoot in Serbia last month. He also admitted he failed to declare that he had traveled in the 2-week period before entering Australia for the Open, which begins next week. Tennis fan Elise Hutchins.
They should really be reassessing it and having a look at everything that's come out and deciding whether or not he's telling the truth. And if he's not telling the truth, then he should be held accountable for that.
President Biden in Atlanta talking about voting rights legislation.
Let the majority prevail. And if that bare minimum is blocked, we have no option but to change the Senate rules, including getting rid of the filibuster for this.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is back in Washington.
We're ready to have this vote. We think it's time for those who want to break the Senate to stand up and try to break the Senate. And let's see where everybody stands.
The Senate has agreed to pass a bill that would award the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously to Emmett Till, the 14-year-old tortured and killed by white men in Mississippi in 1955. This is ABC News.
This is Matt Crowder live at the Shell station on 41st Street, reporting on the free gas app called Get Upside that's letting people all over the country earn cash back on every gallon of gas they buy. Excuse me, miss. Have you heard of the Get Upside gas app?
Of course. People are earning as much as $300 a year with the Get Upside app. It's so easy. Open the app to see nearby gas stations offering money back, pick the one you want, and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Get Upside gas app and earn up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder, Radio News Network.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to earn up to 25 cents a gallon cash back when you buy gas. Use promo code TODAY for a 50 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Get up to 75 cents a gallon cash back on your next fill-up when you download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TODAY. Promo code TODAY.
Some tense moments in a Senate hearing on COVID. ABC's Faith Abube has that story from Washington.
A hot mic caught Dr. Anthony Fauci calling Kansas Senator Roger Marshall a moron after Marshall questioned Fauci about his personal financial disclosures, which are already public information.
There's an air of appearance that maybe some shenanigans are going on. You know, I don't think I assume that's
Senator,
not the case.
What are you talking about?
It's not the case.
Then that hot mic moment.
What a moron. Jesus Christ.
Fauci also taking on Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, saying Paul's repeated attacks are putting his life at risk.
In North Carolina, protests over the deadly shooting of a black man by an off-duty sheriff's deputy. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has that story.
No justice, no peace. Protesters gathered in Fayetteville, North Carolina last night in the wake of the deadly shooting of Jason Walker. The 37-year-old was shot Saturday by off-duty sheriff's deputy Jeffrey Hash, who says Walker jumped on his truck, pulled off a windshield wiper, and was attacking his truck with it. Authorities say Hash, a 16-year veteran of the force with a clean record, then shot Walker, who was later pronounced dead at the scene.
But Walker's family says they don't believe the police report. The latest to jump into the NFT craze, the Associated Press. It now says it will start selling NFTs for some of its photographs at the end of the month. This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the wrist.
It's going to be another cloud-free day out there. High temperatures will be milder today as we have winds switching directions out of the southwest. Highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s this afternoon will give way to some cold temperatures tonight, down into the upper 20s as well as the lower 30s. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures in the low to upper 50s. We are tracking dry conditions throughout Thursday, but some light showers will move in overnight. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And all eyes are toward the weekend because that's the talk of the town right now. Saturday night, Sunday, the possibility could be some snow showers. On Sunday, highs around 39, wind chill value as low as 17, wind gusting to 16 miles per hour, and a 50-50 chance of some snow. May come in here on Saturday night with the rain and snow mixture and then turning into snow maybe by Sunday morning. We'll watch that pattern for you. Don't know where it's coming from exactly just yet, and it changes, as you know, from time to time, but we'll keep our eye on the weather. Keep you posted on when to go get the bread and milk at the grocery store, just in case, right? 7:06 is time now for the daily death announcements, and I have these. Annie Lou Stallings, age 99, of Rutherfordton, died Monday, January the 10th at Holly Springs Senior Citizen Home. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock Thursday, January 13th at McMahon's Funeral Home. The funeral service will be at Holly Springs Baptist Church Friday, January the 14th. And burial will be at Holly Springs Baptist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Annie Lou Stallings. Laura White Callahan, 79, passed away into the Lord's arms on Saturday, January the 8th. A visitation will be held Friday, January the 14th from 1 until 2:30 at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, with the funeral service following at 2:30 in the A.C. McKinney Memorial Chapel at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Laura White Callahan. Brenda Gail Andrews of Forest City, age 72, passed away December 30th of COVID-related issues. A private burial service have already been held, but a marker placement ceremony will take place at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery at a future date. And Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Brenda Gail Andrews. Philip Anthony George, age 58, of Mooresboro, died Thursday, January the 6th, at his residence. There are no formal services currently planned. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory serving the family of Philip Anthony George. Jason Dean Van Dyke, 44, of Bostic, died Saturday, December 25th. A family-directed memorial service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Saturday, January the 16th, at Fairview Baptist Church. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 at the church prior to the service. And Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of the cremation service for Jason Dean Van Dyke. Junior Womack, age 95, of Anderson, South Carolina, formerly of Ellenboro, passed away Thursday, January 6th, at Richard M. Campbell Veterans Home in Anderson. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Thursday, January the 13th, at Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow at Lebanon United Methodist Church Cemetery, with military honors being accorded by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral Home, serving the family of Junior Womack. Margaret Robbins, age 83, of Forest City, passed away Sunday, January the 9th, at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. No formal services are planned at this time, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Margaret Robbins. Charles Eddie St. Clair, age 78, passed away Sunday at his home. Funeral services will be private, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Charles Eddie St. Clair. And Bo Whiteside passed away Wednesday, January the 5th, at the age of 70. Due to COVID restrictions, a public viewing will be held on Thursday, January the 13th at 1:30 at Thompson Mortuary. There will be a private funeral on Friday, January the 4th. Funeral will be streamed live on Thompson Mortuary and Chapel's Facebook page. Memorial celebration will be held at a later date. The family is being served by Thompson Mortuaries. And again, that's Bo Whiteside.
From the NRIA.net studios in New York, stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer steady monthly payouts plus double-digit annualized returns. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Wednesday, I am thinking about The View, the TV program, and I don't know why. Might be my neurosis. Barbara Walters is a friend of mine, and before she became ill, she was deeply concerned about the show she created, and that would be The View. What started as a gab fest designed for American women across the board has descended into a far-left hate fest. Once she left the program, Ms. Walters lost control of its content. Now The View is having trouble finding a conservative pundit to sit next to the four liberal ladies. Former panelists on the program have openly stated that unless you toe a liberal line, you are not treated well both on and off the air. No one is shocked. What does surprise is that the Disney Corporation allows the program to be so one-sided. Why? Why do they do that? There should be one independent, two traditionals, and two left-wingers. That would open The View to a bigger audience. Now, there is ample evidence that Disney does not do that because it is a progressive corporation that embraces woke values. That is until you get to the Disney theme parks. No diversity of audience there. Every family is charged shockingly high prices. No money, no Mickey. Perhaps Joy Behar can start a fund to help poor kids go to Disney World. The view from here is that Joy will never do that. Disney certainly would not approve. Now this. AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
It's cold.
How cold?
Well, just go outside.
That's when you know it's for real.
We're helping you survive the winter. Today's hits and yesterday's memories. Family-friendly AM 590, WCAB.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
In October of 1887, a vote was held in Gray County, Kansas, to determine the county seat. The winner was Cimarron, but the citizens of Ingalls weren't happy with the outcome, and they took their case to the courts. For over a year, the courts did nothing. Finally, Asa Soul from Ingalls decided to take the situation into his own hands. He figured that as the crown or mitre was the authority of a king, the records of a county were the authority of a county seat. So on January 11, 1889, he deputized a group of men to steal the county records. These lawmen weren't novices. They included Bill Tillman, Neil Brown, and two of Bat Masterson's brothers, Jim and Tom. Sunday morning, the group rode quietly into Cimarron. Neil Brown and the two Mastersons started carrying out the records as the others stood guard. Then an alarm was sounded and guns started firing. The three record carriers were caught inside the courthouse. The rest got away with the records. More than 200 men started shooting at the courthouse. In the process, one citizen was killed. For more than 24 hours, the men were trapped inside. Then, mysteriously, a truce was called, and the 3 men were allowed to leave the town unscathed. What happened? Well, Bat Masterson heard about his brother's plight, and he telegraphed Cimarron stating that if either of his brothers were hurt, he would hire a train and come in with enough men to blow Cimarron off the face of Kansas. Oh yes, 4 years later, another election was held, and Cimarron again won. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
All right, it's 7:16 on this Wednesday morning, Hump Day Wednesday morning. Let's get to the phones. Eager to find out what's been going on in the past 24 hours. And to tell us from the Sheriff's Department standpoint, here is Officer King. Good morning, Officer King. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How about you, Jim?
I'm doing well, trying to stay where it's warm.
Yes, sir, before the snow gets here.
That's right. We got a lot of folks anticipating that. I hope they don't clear the shelves of all the bread and milk too fast.
I'm sure they're probably already working on it.
Yeah. What's on the report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office responded to 162 calls for service. There were 7 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 152 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, the Green Hill store in Rutherford reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. A Manuela Hammett from Old US 74 Highway in Bostic reported someone failed to work after being paid. And a Christopher Williams from Highway 221 South in Forest City reported a breaking and entering of a motor vehicle. That actually occurred on W.V. Thompson Road in Rutherford. On our arrest reports, Kevin Frederick from Ferry Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 unsecured bond. Addie Marie Browning from Maple Creek Road in Rutherford was arrested and charged with assault and battery, received a $1,500 secured bond. Jessica Bridges, also from Ferry Road, was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on a felony, received a $25,000 secured bond. Curtis Logan from Foster Road in Forest City was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $3,000 secured bond. And Ayana Washington from Earl Road in Shelby was served with warrants for cyber stalking and violation of a release order, and no bond on that one. That's all we have for today.
All right, Officer King, thank you very much for the report, and you go out there and be safe today.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good one.
See you. 18 past 7 o'clock. Next phone call going over to 911 Communications Center.
In Leading Purpose, we recognize that some of our local businesses have struggled the last 2 years trying to make sure the dream they built for their company is not damaged. So many factors have been involved in keeping you from doing what you intended to do as a business owner and what you want to do both for your employees and your community. Leading Purpose is a local small business that wants to walk with you on your journey to achieving greater abundance.
And Tina's up next over the Communications Center. Tina, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. What's on the report?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 371 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 56 for emergency medical services, 162 for the Sheriff's Office, 53 for Forest City, 4 for Lake Lure, 50 for Rutherfordton, and 45 for Spindale. Under fire calls, we had Bills Creek, with the assistance of Lake Lure, Fairfield, and Green Hill, respond to a structure fire. We had Bostic respond to a fire investigation. We had Forest City respond to a motor vehicle accident. We had SDO respond to an appliance fire, with Sandy Mush, Forest City, and Cliffside assisting, and that's all we had.
Thanks, Tina. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
All right, now let's head over toward the SDO Fire District. Ruby Taylor, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you hoping we get some snow this weekend, Ruby?
No.
No. That was a quick answer.
No. I don't want any.
A lot of people would agree with you. A lot of people would say they'd love to have a little bit, but we'll see what happens on Saturday and Sunday.
No, picking to stay somewhere else.
What's on your reports?
The fire department had one call, and it was to appliance fire, and they were assisted by Forest City, Sandy Mush, and Cliffside. And on my birthday calendar, I got Mark Hopper, Ad Hopper, and Holden Green having birthdays, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the arms today and tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks so much, Ruby. Have a good day.
You too.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Here now is our friend from up in the mountains, Gary Wilson of Fairfield Fire District in Bills Creek Community, with our report today. Gary, how you doing this morning?
I'm trying to get all these chains out and get them ready for the big snowstorm.
Got to pull your snow shovel out, huh?
I hope not. I will have to use it. Yeah. Get the chance from Saturday night, Sunday. I think it's still calling to possibility of it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what we get, I guess.
It's a little guessing game right now, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I can do without it, but we'll have to see what we'll come up with. Hopefully, won't be nothing here today, gone today, maybe.
Yeah.
But we've had some chilly weather this week. Been down to low 20s about every morning this week.
Yes.
For the 3 or 4 days, we're sitting on about 23 degrees up here this morning. And no calls overnight. We had the structure fire with Riverbend the day before yesterday morning, but last 24 hours been quiet, so that was good. Hope it'll stay that way. Warm up a little more today than it has been. Going to hit above 50 today at least. That'll be an improvement over what we've been having.
Did that Riverbend fire turn out to be total destruction?
I'm sorry?
Did that Riverbend fire turn out to be total loss?
From what I understand, it was pretty much total loss. It was rolling when the first truck got there. And the stuff, water shuttle operation with about 6 or 7 departments hauling water in there to it for about 2 or 3 hours. So kept them busy for a while, but pretty well wiped it out, I think.
No. Well, it's bad.
And Oh, we got up here. Everything else going along pretty good this morning, Jim.
All right, Gary, thanks so much. You be careful up there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Talk to you then.
All right, bye.
Hey, folks, Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse-quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Let's get over to Boston again and talk with DeVern and see what's been happening over there in that little big city. Good morning, DeVern. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you this morning?
I'm good, well and happy.
Well, very good. Well, over here in Boston, we have 27 degrees this morning, very cold. Might get some snow by the weekend. Fire department had one medical call and one structure fire. Stop by the Whistle Stop Bakery there on Main Street and get your bakery items. And the drop-in is located on Boston Sunshine Road. Visit the meat department. Also, the deli has some outstanding food. And hope everyone has a safe day today.
You have a good day too, DeVern, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
All right, let's talk with Bob Hodge over at the Hudlow Fire District. Bob, what's the story over there?
Well, things are looking good so far this morning. It's a chilly morning up here on this hump day morning, but so far the suns are coming out and looking good so far this morning.
Good.
But with the fire department, it's been quiet. We haven't had any fire calls overnight, so that's good. And they still got that snow in the forecast, like you say there. So, let your snow shovel, if you can find it, where you put it up. So,
yeah, I don't know where mine is. I don't know where my snow shovel is. I may have to.
You've done lost it, hadn't you? There,
I may have to get Faye out there with a couple of big spoons or something and start digging out.
oh, I do it the easy way. I use a front end loader on my tractor and I just scoop it up.
There you go. Now that's a good thought.
Yeah, that's the easy way of doing it there. Well, Jim, things are running along good up here this morning. It's quiet, not too much going on, so I reckon that's good and everything. And you just take care over there and have a good day.
Bob, thank you very much. You keep things under control over there in the Hudlow section, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:28, and
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Let's check on things over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District now. Sue Price is on the phone to give us an update. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
Everything nice and quiet over in your neighborhood?
Everything's nice and quiet, I reckon. It's just a cool morning this morning. That maybe we're going to have it warm up a little bit when the sun gets out. I think it's going to come up. Hopefully, but let's see. I had no calls from the fire department today, and don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my calendar. Fairview's got a birthday for Cheyenne Seidler, and don't have First Broad's calendar yet, so just one person celebrating it I know of, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And I don't have any announcements, hadn't had anything come in, so it's just quiet and calm over here, and we're looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thank you, Sue. Hope you have one, too, and enjoy yourself over there today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow about the same time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Well, let's see if Shingle Hollow's live and well this morning on this Wednesday morning. Tina White's there to report live. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day to you.
It is 24 degrees here in Shingle Hollow this morning. A little cloudy out there. The fire department had one call yesterday. They were there at the scene yesterday morning when we were talking. They were assisting Bills Creek with a house fire. And I think they were there around 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But birthdays today, we have Miss Gladys Campbell on the Piney Knob calendar, nobody on Pilgrim's Way or Pleasant Grove. And White House Community Clubhouse has come out and have breakfast with them Saturday the 22nd. It's all-you-can-eat country breakfast, $6 for adults, $3 for children, under 5 is free, and it is a country breakfast. Again, that's Saturday the 22nd, begins at 7 a.m. I think it goes till 10 at the White House Community Clubhouse. And that's all I have today.
All right. Kind of quiet up there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way we like it.
I love it when it's quiet. Well, you have a great day and enjoy yourself, and I will be back to talk with you tomorrow morning.
Okay, you too. Everybody stay safe, and God bless you.
See you, Tina. Bye-bye. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Now we're heading up toward Union Mills, North Carolina, US of A. Brenda Kelly's on the scene up there to give us a live report. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you on this? Let's see. It's a wonderful Wednesday, isn't it?
It is a wonderful Hump Day Wednesday. Yes, it is.
That's right. Getting ready for the snow. If you can't find your snow shovel, I'm sure you can just go right across the street there, and Farmer's Friend might have one, reckon.
I'm sure he does. He may have some sleds, too.
Yeah, so that that's real handy for you.
Yes, I'll see. I'll see if I can get some big enough for Todd to handle.
And one to fit Faye's hand.
Yeah, I'll get her one too.
You crazy, Jim. But we don't. It according to the map so far, it's coming from the south up, and that's usually bad news for us.
How you look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Bad news or good news, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
Some folks are excited about it.
Oh yeah, they get excited, and we don't have much of it, and it's good that it's coming on the weekend when people don't have to worry about going to work or to school. Well, some people still work on weekends, but most people don't.
That's true. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, so that's a good time for it to come, and then we can enjoy it. I can sit in my recliner and look out the window and see the birds out there at the bird feeder and snow falling, and that's a beautiful scene.
Would you put up a pot of vegetable soup, let it steam a little bit while you're watching the snow fall?
I can. I've been thinking about that already.
Maybe some homemade cornbread to go with it.
Yeah. I can fix up some cornbread. But sounds like a good meal. You're making me hungry already.
I tell you, nothing like good vegetable soup and cornbread.
I know it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's good. Or a big pot of mixed beans and some cornbread and fried potatoes with onions in them.
I like
that. Sounds good. That sounds good too. Well, let's see. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. I don't have any announcements or anything going on so far. And the temperature on the front porch is 20 degrees. And that's all I know of it's going on. We're just sitting around waiting to see what the weather forecast is going to be later.
Well, we'll count down days: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We should know something by Saturday morning. Then over Saturday night, and then Sunday morning we may wake up and see all that snow falling, and we'll just have to
enjoy it.
We'll have to just lay out of church
and make some snow cream.
I hope I can do that. I hope I can do that.
Yeah, I have to make Donald. He'd say, "Get out there and get some of that snow and make me some snow cream." I'd make it. I'd make enough, put in the freezer, and he'd eat on it for 2 or 3 days.
I love to do that too.
He loves stuff like that. But we hope everybody has a good day, and I guess you better go check on Luther's Sweet Thing and see how things are in Ellenburg.
You have a wonderful day up there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. 7:37 as we watch the weather for the rest of the week and report on that as we can. Now, we got news from here and there. They have decided yesterday, the court did, the candidate filing for North Carolina 2020 primary municipal election, it will resume February 24th. You know, they put that on hold because they were challenging the redistricting. Well, the candidates filing for North Carolina 2020 primary election, as well as the rescheduled municipal election, will resume 8 a.m. Thursday, February the 24th, and end at noon Friday, March the 4th, under an order issued by the Superior Court of North Carolina, of Wake County, rather. And the Associated Press reported that a 3-judge panel refused to throw out redistricting maps drawn by the Republican-controlled General Assembly, rejecting arguments that the lines were illegally politically stacked for the GOP. State Board of Elections staff will immediately begin preparing for the continuation of the candidate filing period, including securing a location to ensure the health and safety of staff and candidates. So the county and municipal candidates filing also will resume on February 24th and take place at the County Board of Elections office. The State Board urges those filings for candidacy to contact the specific county office for hours of operation and COVID-19 protocols. And it's going to be challenged. Of course, the other side who lost will be challenging it, so it'll be bouncing back and forth in the courts. But right now, that's how it stands. So February is the filing time. Now let's head over toward Mr. Gilligan's hometown, Mr. Ellenboro there, and see what's happening. Luther, good morning.
Good morning to you two. Nice day down here this morning.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
It is going to be. We're sitting here watching the sky, waiting on the sun to come up. Drinking coffee.
Good cup. Good cup.
It's a good way to start the day. But it's fairly quiet down right now. I had a little excitement this morning. The fire department, they had 2 medical calls, had 1 accident, and had 1 smoke in the building, and had 3 of them after 3 o'clock this morning. So They got busy there for a while, but now things are quiet, and he's ordering a cup of coffee. So that's about all that's happening down here. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Keep your eye on things for us. We appreciate the reporting, and have a good day, and enjoy another cup of coffee on me.
All right, take care.
I'll see you now. Luther Gilligan reporting out of Ellenboro this morning, and that wraps up the call-around report. We'd still love to get a hold of some folks in the Cliffside or the Sandy Mush Fire District, somebody to report those areas, because I know they stay busy, and we'd like to get those sections of the county covered also. So if you know somebody in those two districts, fire districts, please see if they will report to us each morning. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this 12th day of January the 12th, 2022. And we will welcome birthdays and anniversaries coming up next. 287-3356. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control, and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171, and they'll be right there.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Well, it's time for breakfast, and Granny B's got breakfast cooking over there. If you want a good breakfast, good hot breakfast, made fresh as you wait for it there, they do that good. They got, of course, fresh eggs and bacon and all the good things that makes for a good breakfast. And they all have specialty coffee also. If you just want a cup of coffee and one of those delicious daylight donuts, it's time to go for it. They start serving breakfast at 7 o'clock, 7 until 11. At Granny B's there in Spindale, great place to enjoy any meal of the day, or take it to work with you, or take it home with you. Also, when you need your clothes cleaned and freshened up, Folks Cleaners is a great place for that. They're right here at the Tri-City Mall over there, behind Tri-City Mall at Rockwood Plaza. You can drive up to the side of the building. They'll open the door. They'll get your clothes, put your name on it, and they'll have them back in a couple of days. So spruce yourself up this year and have those clothes looking good and neat and clean, courtesy of Folks Cleaners. Good folks to do business with.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Gene Jones of Forest City, and Calvin Logan over at Forest City also is having a birthday today. Other birthdays across history: 1876, Jack London. He was a writer of Call of Wild. You can remember that story. He died in 1916. Tex Ritter was born 1966, 1906, I guess it is, and died in 1921. I guess that makes more sense. Saw Tex Ritter up in Alaska when I was up there serving. 1926, Ray Price, country singer, born in 1926, died 2013. 1935, William Lee Golden of the Oak Ridge Boys was born, and he was born with that long beard. 1951, Rush Limbaugh was born, died in 2021. 1954, Howard Stern was born. He's still living, running that mouth. Events include 1896, first X-ray photo in the U.S. 1949, Arthur Godfrey and Friends premiered on CBS. 1962, Operation Chopper began since America's first combat mission in the Vietnam War. 1966, Batman debuted on ABC. Batman. 1971, All in the Family premiered on CBS, featured the first toilet flush on TV. Now, what a thing for history. 1981, Dynasty premiered on CBS, and this is National Curried Chicken Day, Kiss a Ginger Day, National Marzipan Day, and National Pharmacist Day. So kiss your pharmacist and kiss a ginger today. You'll be happy. Now you're up to date. You're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB. Keys to Confident Living up next.
With the cold winds blowing, do you have a message for Old Man Winter?
Can you get out of my face?
Just bundle up and keep us close. Today's hits and yesterday's memories. Family-friendly AM 590 WCAB.
WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Omicron surge producing a record number of infections across the country. Hospitals feeling the strain. ABC's Whit Johnson is outside one of them here in New York.
More than 1.4 million new COVID cases in just 24 hours, fueled in part by a weekend backlog. The highly contagious Omicron variant now accounting for about 98% of new infections. The acting FDA commissioner with this stark warning.
I think it's hard to process what's actually happening right now, which is most people are going to get COVID, all right?
In just the last week, an average of 9 Americans testing positive every second.
The governors of Massachusetts and Maine activating more National Guard members to help out. But New York State, COVID numbers have started to plateau for the first time in weeks, and hospitalizations are slowing down. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson apologizing for attending a garden party during Britain's lockdown in 2020. Opposition leaders are demanding that he resign over flouting pandemic restrictions. We could get new CDC recommendations on masks this week. KN95s were recommended over surgical or cloth masks, even though the key, says ABC News medical unit coordinating producer Sony Salzman, is fit.
So that's the big caveat here. Yes, they work better, but if they fit, if you have a surgical mask, a cloth mask you really love, it's really good, and it fits you and it's comfy and you wear it all the time, that's also a good option.
In about a half hour, we will get consumer price index numbers, a key indicator of inflation, which is rising faster than it has in decades, according to ABC Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis.
You're really seeing it across the board in household items. Meats, poultry, fish up 12.8%. Furniture and bedding up 11.8%. Coffee 7.5% higher in price than it was this time last year.
The S&P futures are up 4 points. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Investigators in Philadelphia releasing preliminary results on the duplex fire that killed 12 people. They say a lighter was found near a Christmas tree that ignited. After the deadly fire in the Bronx high-rise in New York that killed 17 people, $1 billion lawsuit has now been filed. It accuses the landlords of negligence for failing to make sure that the fire doors of each apartment could close by themselves. ABC's Josh Einiger.
Not one, but two doors failed to close on their own, and the chimney effect they created turned the fire stairs into a death trap. The investigation continues into why those doors were broken, and most importantly, whether building management knew about it.
8 of the victims in the Bronx were children. An argument over planting trees in Israel could bring the entire work of the government to a halt. Here's ABC's Jordana Miller.
Israel's razor-thin ruling coalition facing a crisis that may delay Omicron policies. Mansour Abbas declaring his Arab Party's critical 4 members will not vote on any government matters until a controversial forestation project in the Negev desert is halted. Abbas and critics claim the Jewish National Fund tree planting project threatens the livelihood of local Israeli Arab Bedouins. Protests, clashes, and arrests in the Negev are continuing, but it's likely this project will be halted for negotiations. That reflects the newfound political power of Israel's Arab minority. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
This is ABC News.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Expect another dose of sunshine today. Highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s with mostly sunny conditions around. It's also going to be milder as we get winds to switch out of the southwest. Overnight, look for lows in the upper 20s and lower 30s with highs tomorrow in the low to upper 50s. A few light showers will be possible on Thursday. It will not be widespread by Thursday night, but we are tracking this storm system that could bring rain, snow, and freezing rain across the region as we head into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
All right, everybody wanting snow for the weekend, raise your hand. Yes, I see a bunch of hands raised. Those who don't want any, raise your other hand. Yes, I see a bunch of hands. I believe we got about a 50-50 split on those who looking for snow and those who don't want it. Right now we're sort of stuck on 23 degrees, warming up today, though, nicely to about 52, and wind still being a factor, wind gusting to about 11 miles per hour here on this cold Wednesday morning, the 12th day of January. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it's time now for the school board report. I have the chairman on the phone with me now. Chairman Philip Barrow was there last night chairing the meeting, and he's on the phone with us right now. Tell us all what happened. Good morning, Philip. How you doing?
Good morning, Jim. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Loving this cool weather. How about you?
Hey, it's cold. Yeah. It's cold. Are you ready for some snow this weekend, possibly?
Well, I think so. I think I'd like to see some fall. I don't want it to hang around very long, though, but I do love to see it fall.
If it's going to come on the weekend and be gone Monday morning.
That's what I'm saying. Tell us about your meeting last night.
Well, Jim, last night was a very light agenda for the first meeting of the year. We did recognize the REACH Rutherford Early College for another 100% cohort graduation rate last night. So I believe that was about 12 years in a row. So outstanding job. Good things going on there at REACH. After that, Jim, we went into the current mitigation procedures where we kept mask required in Rutherford County schools and had some discussion on some updates from the North Carolina Schools Toolkit. Had several changes over the holidays and really helped us out when it comes to excluding students when it comes to exposures. We now have it's called a test to stay, where if a kid or student is exposed to a positive person, if that kid chooses to go get tested, if their parents want them to go get tested and they test negative, they can go right back to class. So that will help those kids stay in that face-to-face learning, which we know they all benefit from a whole lot better than not being in class. So covered that last night. Then we also had some business to take care of for the new RS Middle School, which is quickly coming to completion. Looking forward to that here in the next month or two. So, and that's going to be another outstanding facility to serve the students of Rutherford County schools for sure.
Will they be going to that school before the school year ends, or will they wait till fall?
We'll wait till fall.
Okay, that's
we'll wait till fall. Okay. Yeah. Once the construction is complete, we'll spend probably the last 3 months of the year in the summer getting, all the furniture in and getting everything set up.
Yeah, good.
So, but if you hadn't been over there, Jim, it is going to be a fantastic facility.
I know the kids will be excited about having a new facility.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And then we were able to hear our first budget resolution. It only took until January of a school year to finally get to a budget resolution, but thankful that everything did get passed and we were able to move on to that. And Jim, that was pretty much the meeting last night. Like I say, it was a very short and light agenda for the first one of the year.
Those are my kind of meetings, so short and light agenda. I like those kind.
Yes, yes.
And on the mask thing, do you look at that week by week or month by month?
We look at it. We have to adopt the policy every month.
Okay, I got you. I got you, my friend. I appreciate you sharing that information with us, and thank you for being willing to be on with us to give the school board report. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Hope you have a good day, Jim.
Don't dig too much snow out this weekend now.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Rough on the back. I'll see you
Bye.
now. Bye-bye. That's Philip Morrow, chairman of the school board, willing to be on with us to talk about their meeting last night, which was brief. Those meetings should be brief. Sometimes they have to be long, but boy, don't you hate to go to a meeting where they just belabor a point and just argue back and forth over and over, bring up the same thing over and over again. Let's get to the point, make a decision, and move on, right? That's what I'm saying. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, we'll have some news from here and there in just a moment.
Do you need an insurance agent you can talk to? Call Insurance Service Associates at 828-245-5301. We want to help you get the best out of your insurance dollar. As a trusted choice independent agent, we shop your coverage with several companies to give you the best value. More companies, better choices, best rate. Come see us at our new office at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call us at 828-245-5301.
Well, this next bit of news, it will affect all those candidates who are putting out signs and ready to start campaigning full-time. The candidate filing for the North Carolina 2022 primary municipal election will resume February 24th. Candidates filing for that, as well as this coming election, rescheduled municipal elections. I think most of those are over with, at least in our area. But that will resume 8 a.m. Thursday, February 24th, and end noon Friday, March the 4th, under an order issued by the Superior Court of Wake County. The Associated Press reported a three-judge panel on Tuesday refused to throw out redistricting maps drawn by the Republican-controlled General Assembly, rejecting arguments that the lines were illegally politically stacked for the GOP. They didn't believe that, so they threw that out, and it moves forward. State Board of Elections staff will immediately begin preparing for the continuation of the candidate filing period, including securing a location to ensure the health and safety of staff and candidates, according to State Board Executive Director Karen Brinson Bell. She went on to say, "We will provide all details to the public as soon as possible and through announcement distributed to the media. County and municipal candidate filing also will resume February 24th and take place at the County Board of Elections offices. The State Board urges those filing for candidacy to contact the specific county office for hours of operation and COVID-19 protocols. If you're under the sound of my voice and you're interested in running for an office, February the 24th will be your time to file." A separate court order on Tuesday ordered the suspension of the consideration of any challenges to candidates for U.S. House, NC House, and NC Senate until final resolutions. Such a challenge was filed against a congressional candidate on Monday, January 10th, and the State Board was planning to appoint a panel to hear that challenge during a meeting on Wednesday, January the 12th. In accordance with the court's order, State Board canceled its meeting, and consideration of that pending challenge is postponed until resolution of the redistricting cases. Now, one of those groups that have been filing protests, North Carolina voters filed a legal challenge against U.S. Representative Madison Cawthorn's 2022 candidacy for re-election. The challenge alleges that Cawthorn is constitutionally disqualified from public office under the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution based on reasonable suspicion that he helped facilitate the January 6, 2021 insurrection, as they call it, on the Capitol. Well, he didn't, but that's what they're accusing him of. The left up in Asheville, in that district of Asheville, trying their best to get Madison Cawthorn defeated because he came out of nowhere as a young man in a wheelchair and defeated their candidates. So they're doing their best to get him out of there now so they can take over. The judges, however, have let North Carolina GOP redistricting plans stand as they are. Asheville and much of far western North Carolina will now be included in the newly created 14th Congressional District. A portion of Watauga County will also now be in the 14th District. McDowell, Polk, and Rutherford counties have been moved to the 13th District. So all of that will be changing. We'll be hearing more and more about that as time gets closer and closer, and you'll be seeing more and more signs going up, and they have the right to campaign and do what they think they need to do. I just hope everybody keeps it clean and above board, and stop making innuendos and false fake news, as it's been called sometime, about things that are actually not true. If they're willing to campaign on fake news and made up information, then they don't deserve to do our vote. If they campaign on truth, then let's look at them. But if they're campaigning on fake information, they don't deserve our attention. Because if they'll campaign and win on fake information, then they're going to feed us that kind of stuff the whole time they're in office. But the challenge was filed by a group over Cawthorn's involvement. They thought involvement in the Capitol riot. But the judge refused to throw out redistricting maps, and they refused to hear that complaint as well. So we'll see how all that. Of course, they will file protests against all of that. They will file suit against that decision from the court, and they'll be bouncing back and forth. Meanwhile, other local news, the Daily Courier is reporting that the year 2021 was the biggest year yet for Heart of the Foothills Animal Rescue. The organization officially began in September 2019 after initially being affiliated with Brother Wolf of Asheville. Shortly after the organization became Heart of the Foothills Animal Rescue, it relocated to its current home, US 221 in Rutherfordton, near RS Central High School. It was previously located a couple of miles north of town. The larger facility allows HFAR to care for more dogs and cats. Last year, the Heart of the Foothills Animal Rescue processed more than 500 animals. They took in a total of 229 cats, 298 dogs, for a total of 527. Of the animals in their care, 119 cats were adopted, 202 dogs were adopted, another 101 cats were sent out of state for adoption, as were 93 dogs. 2 cats and 5 dogs that were in their care were returned to their owners. And some animals come into the facility in fragile health who, despite the efforts of the Heart of the Foothills Animal Rescue, die at the facilities. But they are trying to do something to help rescue those animals. The birthplace at Rutherford Regional didn't have to wait, or the first baby didn't have to wait long for the first baby of 2022, barely over 2 hours. According to a story in the Daily Courier, weighing 7 pounds and 14.5 ounces, Ayla Carolina Chavez Smith was born to parents Chantel and Yesu Saturday, January the 1st at 2:04 a.m. The birthplace of Rutherford Regional is committed to providing high-quality, compassionate care close to home for new and expecting parents in the region. The center offers an array of prenatal classes, labor and delivery, breastfeeding and lactation support, extensive mother and baby care, and specialized staff. So congratulations to the Smiths. Well, in a shocking move, NASCAR, they've gone woke on us. They've denied Brandon Brown a sponsorship deal for his car's primary sponsor. The deal was with LGB Coin, a cryptocurrency company inspired by the Let's Go Brandon slogan. NASCAR has denied that, would not let that happen. Yep, that's right. Look, they can't take a little practical joke, I guess. Want to do things the way they want to do it because they might get upset and might upset somebody on the left. All right, it's 18 past the hour of 8 o'clock, Wednesday Hump Day, and we've got this, and we also have the Sheriff's Report with Officer King coming up here in just a few.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Well, some of you are just waking up right now and ready for breakfast and don't have a thing in the house to eat. Well, let me suggest you go down to Scrappy's Food and Fuel and try their breakfast. All they do, those hot handmade biscuits, and they've got them ready right now. And breakfast is served all the way up until 11 o'clock. Yep, full breakfast served Monday through Friday until 2 o'clock, from 6 a.m. until 2 o'clock, and Saturdays from 7 until 2. So if you want breakfast, go by Scrappy's Food and Fuel and see what they can do for you. Those hot handmade biscuits are ready for you. And you really need to check out their menus for other choices, too, like their onion rings, their great hot dogs, their hand-breaded chicken tenders, juicy hamburgers. After you've had one meal there, you'll want to go back. Scrappy's Food and Fuel is on the corner of Chase High Road and Highway 221, just below Floyd's Creek Baptist Church. Scrappy's Food and Fuel. And ask them how they got the name Scrappy. It's an interesting story. It's locally owned and locally operated. Scrappy's Food and Fuel. Go have breakfast with them. Tell them Jim sent you down there. All right, it is time for the Sheriff's Report, and Officer King was with us earlier this morning, and we recorded his report for broadcast at this time.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office responded to 162 calls for service. There were 7 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 152 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, the Green Hill store in Rutherford reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. A Manuela Hammett from Old US 74 Highway in Bostic reported someone failed to work after being paid, and a Christopher Williams from Highway 221 South in Forest City reported a breaking and entering of a motor vehicle. That actually occurred on W.V. Thompson Road in Rutherford. On our arrest reports, Kevin Frederick from Ferree Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 unsecured bond. Addie Marie Browning from Maple Creek Road in Rutherford was arrested and charged with assault and battery, received a $1,500 secured bond. Jessica Bridges, also from Ferree Road, was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on a felony, received a $25,000 secured bond. Curtis Logan from Foster Road in Forest City was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $3,000 secured bond. And Ayana Washington from Earl Road in Shelby was served with warrants for cyber stalking and violation of a release order, and no bond on that one. That's all we have for today.
With the cold winds blowing, do you have a message for Old Man Winter?
Can you get out of my face?
Just bundle up and keep us close. Today's hits and yesterday's memories. Family-friendly AM 590, WCAB.
Well, listen, there was a study showing higher level of mental distress among people uncertain about their relationship with God. I'm not preaching to you this morning, but this story out of Breaking Christian News Information, it says if you feel like God is consistent and responsive, usually we call that a secure attachment to God. If you feel like God is aloof and distant and you can't really rely on him, that is an avoidant attachment style. And if you're just not really sure, that's kind of an anxious attachment. That's according to W. Matthew Henderson of Union University. According to a new study published in the Journal for the Scientific Study of Religion, people who were uncertain about their relationship with God were found to have higher levels of mental distress. The survey, titled Attachment to God and Psychological Distress, Evidence of a Colvin-Lear Relationship, used national data from a 2010 religion survey, which included 1,600 Americans who believed in God. While non-Christians were featured in the study, respondents were predominantly Christian, and their level of mental distress among those who didn't have a relationship or wasn't sure about God, their mental distress was higher than those who have a competent relationship with the Maker. Meanwhile, a Dutch Lawmaker refutes the claim that 97% of the scientists agree on man-made global warming. He says that's a blatant lie. All of this, and I do mean all of this, is false. In reality, only 1.6% agree with those statements. This is Thierry Bondet, Dutch lawmaker, Dutch member of the parliament. Thierry Bondet has decided to take the conservative battle for reason and common sense international. How often do we hear, Bondet said, that 97% of scientists agree that humans are the cause of climate change, that this climate change is severe, posing a major threat to the planet, and that we need a drastic reduction in our carbon dioxide emissions. All of this, and I do mean all of it, is false. It is blatant lie that 97% of scientists agree with it. The myth about the 97% was famously propagated by former U.S. President Barack Obama, and he is refuting that analysis, saying that is absolutely not true. So there you go, folks. Something else to ponder while you're having your coffee today. It's time for an update on sports, and I'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning. So long, folks.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. We start with college basketball and the nation's longest winning streak coming to an end after number 19 Texas Tech beat top-ranked Baylor yesterday, 65-62. The national champion Bears had won 21 straight. Another top 25 action, freshman Jabari Smith scored a season-high 25 points, and Alan Flanagan made 4 straight free throws in the final minute to lift number 4 Auburn to an 81-77 victory over rival number 24 Alabama. The Tigers pushed their win streak to 12 games in the rivals' first top 25 matchup in 35 years. Freshman Matthew Cleveland scored 11 of his 15 points in the second half. Raekwon Evans made 2 free throws with 0.8 seconds to go, and Florida State beat in-state rival Miami 65-64 and extended its win streak against the Hurricanes to 8 games in ACC play. Buddy Boeheim scored 24 and reached a 20-point mark for the 8th time this season. And Jimmy Boeheim scored 18 points for Syracuse, who beat Pittsburgh 77-61. On the pro court, the Clippers rallied from 25 down in the second half for a stunning 87-85 win over the Denver Nuggets. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hit the go-ahead three-pointer with 30.8 seconds remaining, and the Washington Wizards beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 122-118. That despite being without star Bradley Beal because of health and safety protocols. The Thunder, for them, it's their 5th straight loss. Jack Eichel finally skated with the Las Vegas Golden Knights for the first time since being acquired from the Buffalo Sabres. He underwent artificial disc replacement surgery on his neck in November. Eichel wore a non-contact jersey as he skated around the team's practice facility. Vegas coach Peter DeBoer said it'll take some time, a while, before the 25-year-old All-Star will be able to endure contact. Eichel said he has no target date for a return. This is NCN Sports.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com.
Services.
Alternative Power knows more is happening at home now than ever. And when a winter storm causes your power to go out, life is disrupted. A Generac automatic standby generator from Alternative Power guards the home against blackouts caused by weather of all types. Financing options are available, and act now for a free 10-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Gain peace of mind with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts. See more at alternativepower.com.
The National Football League.
The Carolina Panthers have fired 3 coaches, special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn, offensive line coach Pat Meyer, and defensive line coach Frank Oakham. The New York Giants have fired head coach Joe Judge. The New York Jets are raising their ticket prices an average of 3% in the team's first increase since 2016. The Jets coming off a 4-13 campaign in an 11th straight season without a playoff appearance. Major League Baseball and the Players Association scheduled to meet Thursday in the first negotiations between these parties since labor talks broke off on December 1st. Meanwhile, Keith Hernandez will have his number 17 retired by the New York Mets this summer to honor his 7 seasons as a player and nearly 3 decades as a broadcaster with the franchise. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Expect another dose of sunshine today. Highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s with mostly sunny conditions around. It's also going to be milder as we get winds to switch out of the southwest. Overnight, look for lows in the upper 20s and lower 30s with highs tomorrow in the low to upper 50s. A few light showers will be possible on Thursday. It will not be widespread by Thursday night, but we are tracking this storm system that could bring rain, snow, and freezing rain across the region as we head into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And currently we have clear skies and 24 degrees, warming up to around 52 for a daytime high, with southeast wind up to 6 miles per hour, gusting to 11 miles per hour on this Hump Day Wednesday. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows around 28, and light wind. Have a great day, folks. Enjoy your day with us here at 100.9 FM, 590 AM WCAB, and we're covering the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Jasmine Clark and Connie Davies.
Good morning, Rutherford County. Thank you so much once again for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time and your attention as we share what God has done in our lives and how God has so blessed his people. This morning I have a very, very special young lady with me, someone that I've known ever since she was a little girl, really. And we've come to know each other very well through the years as we've shared the goodness of God and all that God has done for us. And Jasmine Clark has a testimony that to me is one of the most powerful testimonies that I personally have been a part of in the church. She's going to share with you an incident that happened to her and her husband, Jovel, a very precious young man, several years ago when trouble came their way. And I really believe that their testimony can bring you a lot of faith. You know, testimonies are important for us to hear because when we hear things that God has done for people, how God has blessed them or how God has done miraculous things for them, it's something that we should take into ourselves for ourselves as an example of what God can do. If God can do something for Jasmine, he can do it for you. He can do it for me. But you know what it requires? You know what it requires for God to come into your life and really to do a miracle for you is when you have faith in God. And that's one thing that I can say about Jasmine and Jovel. If I could think about one word that would describe this couple, they're people of faith. And their faith has been an example to all of us at the Word of Faith Fellowship through the years. And Jasmine, this morning on the way, I was thinking, how can I introduce Jasmine? And God said Psalm 27. So I'm going to start off with that, if you don't mind. Psalm 27, this describes Jasmine to me. One thing, and this is what Jasmine would say, one thing have I asked of the Lord, that I will seek, inquire for, and insistently require, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord in his presence all the days of my life, to behold and gaze upon the beauty, the sweet attractiveness, and the delightful loveliness of the Lord, and to meditate, consider, and inquire in his temple. For in the day of trouble, is this not true? In the day of trouble, he will hide me in his shelter. In the secret place of his tent will he hide me. He will set me high upon a rock. And it says, hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud, have mercy and be gracious to me and answer me. And you have said, seek my face. Inquire for and require my presence as your vital need. And Jasmine's heart and Jovel's heart said to God, my heart or our heart says to you, your face, your presence, Lord, will we seek. Inquire for and require of necessity on the authority of your word. And I believe that's a testimony that describes what Jasmine is going to share with you today, is how they sought God in the midst of their trouble. And a time in their lives that could have been absolutely devastating, they turned to God and God answered their prayers. So I'm going to leave it with Jasmine to share her story and her testimony about how good God has been to her and her family.
Thank you, Connie. It's such an honor to be here today, and I'm just so excited to share what God has done for my husband and I. He wasn't able to be here today, but I'm going to share on behalf of both of us just the good things that he's done in our lives and how faithful he has been to us and how much he's loved us. And if you go a little further, Connie, in that verse where it talks about the part where it says, what would have become of me had I not believed that I would see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living? And that's us. That's our testimony. in a few minutes, I'm going to share, the example of exactly what I'm talking about. But the main thing is, having faith. And one of the things that God really did in my heart was just taking us through trials and tribulations, is to bringing us to a place to understand and to know that He wants to be our Father. What He wants to be to us. He wants to take care of us. He wants to provide for us, and that He will allow us to go through trials and tribulations just so we can come to a place of understanding who He is and what He can do for us. And I want to start off with a scripture in Romans chapter 4. If you have your Bible, feel free to turn there. Romans chapter 4, starting in verse 16. And I know for me, this particular scripture really just outlines what we went through and the work that God did in our hearts in going through what we went through. I'm going to start in verse 16, and it says, "Therefore, inheriting the promise is the outcome of faith, and it depends entirely on faith, in order that it might be given as an act of grace, unmerited favor, to make it stable and valid and guaranteed to all His descendants, not only to the devotees and adherents of the law, but also to those who share the faith of Abraham, who is thus the father of us all. As it is written, I have made you the father of many nations. He was appointed our father in the sight of God, in whom He believed, who gives life to the dead and speaks of the non-existent things that He has foretold and promised as if they already existed. For Abraham, human reason for hope being gone, hoped in faith that he should become the father of many nations, as he had been promised. So numberless shall your descendants be. He did not weaken in faith when he considered the utter impotence of his own body, which was as good as dead because he was about 100 years old, or when he considered the barrenness of Sarah's deadened womb. No unbelief or distrust made him waver, doubtingly question concerning the promise of God. But he grew strong and was empowered by faith as he gave praise and glory to God, fully satisfied and assured that God was able and mighty to keep His word and to do what He has promised. And then in verse 22 it says, that is why his faith was credited to him as righteousness, right standing with God. And I through the particular trial that I went through, my husband and I, this scripture became so real to me. Because as you study the book of Abraham, or the book that, the Bible that talks about Abraham and what he went through. In the natural, it looked, Connie, like there was no way that Abraham and Sarah could have a son. There was no way in the natural. And really, in the circumstances that I faced, in the natural, there was no way. Mm-hmm. There was no way that in the natural that what was done for me could be done. And I remember going through this scripture and thinking, we go through so many scriptures in the Bible. You think about the woman with the issue of blood. You think about Abraham. You think about, the man whose child died. And we don't mean to do this, but a lot of times we consider the stories in the Bible just a Bible story. Mm-hmm. And right. They're not real to us. And I just remember, back is just going through those stories and realizing, Jesus, this was real. This really happened. And these people really had to go into a place to have faith, to believe in you, that you were going to do what they needed. Mm-hmm. And that's why God counted it to us as him as righteousness, because he believed. That's right. He believed in God. He believed that God was going to do what He said He was going to do. And for me, just to give you the background, my husband and I, we had a little boy, and he was 10 months old. And at 10 months old, our son was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma, which is a very aggressive, very dangerous cancer. And we were given very, very little hope. And, in the beginning, it was, you go through situations like that, and the first question that you ask yourself, especially if you don't walk with Jesus like you need to, and like the place where God was wanting me to walk, is why? why did this happen to me? Why are we having to go through this? And little did I know the work of the Spirit that God was going to do in my heart going through that, and seeing, now that we're on the other side of it, I can look back and think, that I would have never have had the work of the Spirit done in my heart any other way, Connie. It just wouldn't have come any other way. And I can look back now and see it as God's love for us because of what he did do for us. But, in the main place where he wanted me to go was to have faith in him and to believe in him as my Father. He could do anything for me. It didn't matter how bad it looked. It didn't matter how much cancer my son had. God was able to heal him, and he did. And just... I want to go to another scripture before I get into our testimony, but if you go to 1 John chapter 3. Starting in verse 1. And it says, "See what an incredible quality of love the Father has given, shown, bestowed on us, that we should be permitted to be named and called and counted the children of God. And so we are. The reason that the world does not know, recognize, acknowledge us is that it does not know, recognize, and acknowledge him." And right here in verse 2 it says, "Beloved, we are even here and now God's children. It is not yet disclosed, made clear, what we shall be hereafter, but we know that when he comes and is manifested, we shall be as God's children, resemble and be like him. For we shall see him just as he really is. And everyone who has this hope, resting on him, cleanses, purifies himself just as he is pure, chaste, undefiled, and guiltless." And that's a hope that we have, knowing that we are God's children and that we can trust him and that we can believe in him no matter what the circumstances. That is a hope, and that it's really a blessing. I called it the pearl of great price. When I came to that realization in the midst of that, because I didn't know before, I didn't, and I didn't know that I didn't know, but it was like I had found a pearl of great price, and it wasn't just my son's healing, it was coming to know Jesus through what we were going through. That was what I found, and that was the most exciting thing of it all because of what Jesus did in our hearts. But just to go back, like I said, our son was diagnosed with cancer at when he was 10 months old, and we immediately, went into very intense treatments. We were not given a very good prognosis at all. I mean, when he was first diagnosed, it was still considered a very rare disease, and there wasn't a lot of treatment available. Pretty much the percentage of children that died with it was very, very high. Right. And, they started doing tests and things. And actually, to back up a little bit, I remember the day that, and just really throughout my whole life, I've always felt God's drawing power very strong in my life for me to serve him. That there's a special place that he had in my heart, and that I always felt like I had a special place in God's heart. Mm-hmm. And I know we all can say that, but I remember just places in my life where God it would be so precious, where he would speak to me. And really, the day that my son was diagnosed, right before we found out what he had, we were in the doctor's office, and we knew that there was something going on, and the doctor had hinted that it was serious. And I remember sitting there that day, and some of my family members were having a very hard time, but I remember in my heart asking Jesus, Jesus, what's going on? And I remember him speaking so clear to me. He said, "Jasmine, Braylon's going to be okay." That's all I heard. And it was so sweet, Connie, because I had not at that point, I didn't even know what we were getting ready to face. I didn't know what the doctors were getting ready to tell me. And a few hours later, after some tests and things were done, I had a doctor walk in and tell me, "Your son has cancer." And I remember going back, even then, when I heard that, going back to God and saying, "God, you told me that, I thought you told me that our son was going to be okay." And I heard, as clear as he was standing right there in the room with me, Connie, he said, "I did." And that's all I heard. And it was like when he said that to me, a peace came on me. I mean, we faced the gates of hell after that. I mean, it was one thing after another. It was one bad report after another. It was, every test that we had, Braylon had the worst. I mean, he was, they call it NMIC amplified. That means there's certain levels of the cancer that you can have. He had the highest level. It was, his bone marrow was 95% full of cancer. He was full of cancer. He had a large tumor the size of a baseball. And if you can imagine, in a 10-month-old baby, a tumor the size of a baseball in his abdomen. And it had metastasized to, there was a smaller tumor about the size of a walnut in the orbit of his eye. So it was, it was just unimaginable. And so naturally, like I said, every doctor that we came in touch with gave us very little hope. And, through the weeks and the weeks to come and the just going through things. I mean, one doctor actually didn't even really want to start chemotherapy because we overheard him talking to another doctor. He didn't realize we could hear him, but basically arguing with another doctor and saying, why would we even start anything? He's not going to make it. And
now listen, the very key to this, and I want you to hear what she's saying. The Word of God is powerful.
Yes.
It's mighty to deliver, but it's mighty to sustain us. And she had one word from God, Braylon's going to be okay. Yes. One word from God. Is that what you held on to? And I'm telling you, God can speak to our hearts out of the Word of God, but He can come to us personally and say something to us that we hold on to. That is that anchor of faith that you had to have during that period of time.
Yes, and like you said, Connie, I had to have it.
You had to.
I mean, because God spoke to me throughout this, and I'll share this as well. But that if I wavered, it was so serious with him, and you could just literally feel demons in the spirit, because God spoke to me. It was a spiritual battle. You could feel demons standing right there, literally waiting for me to make the decision to give up. And I knew that if I did, and if I didn't hold on to that one word God spoke to me, Braylon would have died. And so it was the fear of God in my heart to do that. But the doctor didn't even want to start treatment because he didn't feel like Braylon would make it. It was worth it. Braylon wasn't worth starting treatment to him. Mm-hmm. So, that was the first thing that we really had to overcome, was even getting them to start treatment on him. And then when they did, I mean, Braylon went through some of the most intense treatments that anybody could ever imagine. I mean, they threw some of the highest doses of chemo at a 10-month-old baby that you could safely throw at them without killing them. We went through very, very, very high doses of chemo, and we were told, Braylon, a lot of people don't even survive the chemo. I mean, it was just, so even that, and let alone the cancer, that we had to really go into place. But it was amazing, the grace of God on him. He was so strong. He was so powerful and so strong. His little body just bounced back at every point. It was just a miracle. But in the midst of that, there was a place I had to really guard my heart not to question God, not to doubt God, not to blame God, not to question, just why me? And, and then, our church went into a really, really strong place for us. And we had one particular service where we prayed so strong.
I'll never forget it.
And really, I know that the battle was won that day. That day.
That's what it felt
like. Yes. Leading up to that day, Connie, I remember my husband and I were in the hospital, and Javel was singing to Braylon, "I hear the sound of the army of the Lord." And I remember thinking, God is getting his army together. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but God is getting his army together, and we're going to win this battle. It's going to be a spiritual battle, but we're going to win it. And not long after that, we had that service, and we sang and we prayed so strong for him, and you literally felt like that day in the spirit, we fought a battle and God won. And we went through a lot of trials and tribulations even after that, but it was broken in the spirit that day. And, we were told that Braylon, the doctors always look at their medical knowledge. And I was constantly telling a doctor, because the word of the Lord came to us as a church, that Braylon would be healed. It didn't matter how bad it looked. That's what God said. And I grasped the hold of that, and I held on to it, and I would not let it go. And so anytime a doctor from that point on came to me and would tell me a bad report, I would look at that doctor and I would say, that is not what God has said. this is what God has said. I remember one particular doctor telling us a bad report, and I looked at that doctor and I told him what God had said, and he had a little bit of a smirk on his face, like, well, we'll see what happens. And, but in my heart, I thought, no, God's going to show you how mighty and how powerful he is. That's right. And we were told that if Braylon relapsed in his brain, there was no hope. And after a year or so of treatment, he did relapse in the brain. And, I remember thinking, God, that must not be true, because he just relapsed in the brain and you said that he was going to be healed. So I knew, I couldn't trust anybody except for God's ministers and the word of the Lord after that. I couldn't. And, the night, really to focus in on that particular situation, I remember the night that, he relapsed in the brain and we were going in for emergency brain surgery because the tumor in his brain ruptured, and so he was having bleeding on the brain. And we had just, right before that, we had just gone through this with just a few months before that with some friends. We had a whole circle of friends that we had, befriended going through this. Their children were going through the same thing as Braylon, that same cancer, and their daughter died under the exact same circumstances. Had a tumor in the brain, it ruptured, she bled, she died. Mm-hmm. And so, we had a lot of places where we had an opportunity to doubt. And I do remember one particular scripture that God gave me, Connie, and it was in Psalms, and it talked about, though many may fall at your right hand or your left hand, it will not touch you. And we literally watched that happen with us with Braylon. I mean, we had situation after situation after situation where children were dying all around us of the same disease. And some of them that in the beginning, theirs wasn't even as bad as Braylon's. Right. Braylon's was worse. And we literally watched him die one by one. But God's grace was on us, and we, the one about the 1,000 falling at your right hand and 10,000 at your left. We were there was a season in our life where we were in a hospital, and there was 3 doors on a wall. There was a child with leukemia on the right side, there was a child with neuroblastoma on the left, and Braylon was in the middle. And I remember feeling when we were in the hospital, we've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of here. I didn't know why, but we really fought to get out of the hospital. And I found out just a few days after we left the hospital that both the child on our left hand and the child on our right hand died within days of each other. But it was like, I literally watched death skip over Braylon. I literally watched it. Children, like I said, all around us dying. And it literally, in the sequence of the diagnosis of all of our friends, they would die according to diagnosis. This one was diagnosed first, they died first. This one was diagnosed second, they died second. And then here was Braylon, it skipped over him, and then the one that was diagnosed fourth died. It skipped Braylon. And I mean, that is such a testimony to me, and even the parents of children that were close to us, they would come to me, they would call me after their child died. They would text me and say, Jasmine, Braylon's going to be okay. There's something special about him. And we know it was just God's grace and God's mercy for us. It was nothing that we did. It was just us believing.
Faith in God. Just believing
in God. Yes, us believing in him. And I do know, as we neared the end of what I felt like, because God took us really in that time through 2 major battles, the initial diagnosis, and then when he was diagnosed with it in the brain, around that time, I was thinking, especially right before it was diagnosed in the brain, that it was over then, that we were going to be done with it. We were going to go back to our normal lives, but God had another battle for us. But then when we did come into the place where I felt like we were finishing up with treatment and he was getting better. I just remember, we ended up in New York, and I just remember a peace coming. And, all through those years, it's like you felt like you were in a dark tunnel and there was no light. I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel, but we could not see it. And, but I remember starting to see a little bit of light at the end of that dark tunnel. And, but still there was a little bit of places of fear that would come. And I remember a devil telling me one day, you're going to live in fear for the rest of your life. I mean, Braylon had to have scans every month, every 2 or 3 months, and I remember every time we would be getting close to him having scans, that fear would come. And that devil spoke that to me one day. And then God said, if you live in fear for the rest of your life, and you don't have faith in me and trust me, you'll live in sin for the rest of your life. And I'll never forget that. I dropped that fear, and I've not gone back to it. I know what God said, and that's what that's where my security is in. And around that time, God, I remember one evening, and I was in Braylon's room. It was actually early one morning, and I was with Braylon, and we were sleeping, and I was asleep. And God, in my sleep, I heard singing. And the words that I heard were, "Joy cometh in the morning, joy cometh in the day. If you seek to find him, you will find the way. Jesus is the way." And I heard that being sung over and over again. And then as I started to wake up, I heard the voice of God as if he was standing right there in the room for me. And I firmly believe he was, Connie. And he said to me, "I have healed Braylon." And then I woke up. And it was like from that point on, there was a peace in my heart that it was over. Yeah. The battle was fought. The battle was won. My son was healed. And it was over with. And the work of the Spirit that was done in my heart was that I learned to have faith in God. I learned to believe in him. I learned that I was his child and he loved me. And God spoke to me so clearly. He said, "Jasmine, I've healed Braylon because I want you to know that I'm your father and I love you. And I would do that for you because I love you." And that was the work of the Spirit that God did in my heart. And looking back, I finally realized that although, you have all those questions, why me? Why did God allow this to happen to me? And now I realize that God allowed me to go through that because he loved me enough that he wanted me to know that I loved him and to have faith in him. And in the end, that's my salvation. And, God, it doesn't matter what we walk through. God has a purpose, and there's a point that he's trying to make in our life. And although it seemed so bad, and even though I look back and it was bad, we were in the hospital for weeks and weeks and weeks, but God was always there for us. He always provided for us. He always had the best for us. We had to go to New York, and, we knew nothing, about a big city. We were pretty much almost just dumped there. But God didn't dump us because, we were chartered on private jets. God, only God could do that. And then, we'd fly into these private airports, and we'd be picked up by very nice, very expensive, brand new SUVs. You would have thought we were royalty. But I think about Psalms 23, and it actually, I'm going to read that.
Sure.
Because that's what, God wanted to show me that even though he was taking us through the valley of the shadow of death, he was taking care of us, and he was preparing a table for us, even in the presence of our enemies. The Lord is my shepherd, to feed, guide, and shield me. I shall not lack. He makes me lie down in fresh, tender, green pastures. He leads me beside the still and restful waters. He refreshes and restores my life, and he has done that for us. He has refreshed our lives. Braylon is an absolute miracle. He's had full brain radiation. He's had things done to your body that would just unimaginable, that what he's had done to his. It would take me all day to tell everything that's been done to him. But, and children that have had that, they don't generally function very well in a school setting. Right. He does very well in school. He's ahead of himself. He makes A's. It's a miracle. He leads me in the paths of righteousness. And then I'm going to go down to verse 4. It says, "Yes, though I walk through the deep, sunless valley of the shadow of death, I will fear or dread no evil, for you are with me. Your rod to protect and your staff to guide, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My brimming cup runs over. Surely goodness, mercy, and unfailing love shall follow me all the days of my life." And this is our cry. "And through the length of my days, the house of the Lord and his presence shall be my dwelling place." And my husband and I know it we know this, Connie, that we owe it to God. We owe our lives to God. We owe our children's life to God. God bless us with another little girl. We have a little girl now, so we have Braylon, and he's got a little sister. We owe it to God.
That's right.
And we're forever grateful.
Her testimony is really one of the most powerful. You know, what you walked through, the church walked through with you. And so we were always looking to see how is God going to do this. But we knew, because of God's faithfulness to you and God's love for you, Jasmine, that God was going to bring you through. We never doubted. But a lot of that's because of your faith helped carry us through as well. I mean, we went through this together, and it was so precious to see how God showed his faithfulness to this family and to all of us, because they're part of our family. But we just hope that this testimony encourages you. I'm sure there are many that are listening that are going through some challenges to the trying of their faith. Let this encourage you. Let the story that you've heard about Braylon and his parents, let it encourage your life today, and find that place in God where you can trust him with his word and what he's telling you personally, and turn to him with all of your heart, and you'll find that resting place for your soul as well. Thank you again for listening to us. Our website is wordoffaithfellowship.org. You can go and listen to other radio programs that have been done by our members, and we hope that you have a great day.